Sexist, retrograde, sleazy and repugnant are among the reviews an Australian journalist has been getting for his interview with New Zealand's Prime Minister. 60 Minutes reporter Charles Wooley's story aired last night, in which he focused on her relationship with partner Clark Gayford, asked about the conception of their child, even seems to have tried to calculate when it happened, and as Nita Blake Pearson reports, many feel Mr Wooley well and truly crossed a line.
Charles Wooley's story kicks off with glowing praise of the Prime Minister's ability to combine politics with pregnancy, a feat he fawns over almost constantly throughout his 13-minute report. He's impressed with her work skills, among others.
I've met a lot of Prime Ministers in my time, but none so young, not too many so smart, and never one so attractive.
Mr Wooley says New Zealand's in the grip of Jacinda mania.
My name is Jacinda.
At 37, Jacinda Ardern is the world's youngest female leader and the most popular. A barefoot politician with the electric smile and the modern touch.
A modern touch that perhaps Charles Wooley has yet to catch up with.
What kind of responsibilities are you seeing for the first bloke? As well as child rearing, of course.
I don't think it's the kind of thing that we sit down and write lists around. And, you know, to be fair to Clark, he already takes on a lot of those duties. I mean, he does all the household washing.
Are you doing the laundry?
Well, it's just a job that needs doing.
Mr Wooley's story was 2 weeks in the making. He accompanied the Prime Minister to Waitangi, where he stood with her as she served bacon butties.
Prime Minister, we don't see this in Australia.
Oh, did you not?
No, I don't think Malcolm Turnbull does this.
And later backgrounds her upbringing in Morrinsville.
How did a nice person like you then, growing up in that way, get involved in the sordid world of politics?
Nice people go into politics.
And thanks to her partner, the Prime Minister seemingly has it all.
This stylish makeover of New Zealand politics is completed by Jacinda's partner, TV star Clark Gayford.
At one point, the reporter joins Clark Gayford for a spot of fishing where they wrestle with rods on a boat deck.
I think mine's bigger than yours.
And he manages to orchestrate the zinger of a line.
Jacinda, what a great catch.
But Charles quickly reminds us that Mr Gayford's fishing days are numbered as he prepares for the role of New Zealand's first bloke. In an interview with both Miss Ardern and Mr Gayford, the reporter proclaims he has a particularly important question, prompting shocked looks and what appears to be an eye roll from the Prime Minister.
What exactly is the date the baby's due?
17th of June.
The 17th. It's interesting how much people have been counting back to the conception, as it were.
Really?
Well, having produced 6 children, it doesn't amaze me that people can have children. Why shouldn't a child be conceived during an election campaign?
Well, I mean, it will.
Not why should. I'm not asking why should.
No,
I'd say why shouldn't.
But I should add that the election was done. Yeah.
The interview has been widely criticised on social media. Critics said Charles Wooley's focus on Jacinda Ardern's looks and pregnancy rather than her policies was sexist, patronising and cringeworthy. Others seem to be oblivious to the concerns, with some men unsure how Mr Wooley's complimentary story has caused offence. 60 Minutes has yet to comment on the criticism. Mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi nei, ko Nita Blake Pearson, aho.
Well, since Nita put her voice down saying they haven't commented, they did. Just a short time ago, 60 Minutes released a statement in support of Mr Wooley's story. It says its reporters have always asked the tough questions. It says, and I quote, Charles Wooley came away from his interview with Jacinda Ardern in awe of her poise, intelligence and everyday charm, which was reflected in this story. And the Prime Minister responded to the 60 Minutes interview this afternoon at her post-cabinet media conference. She says she wasn't fazed by it.
I haven't had a chance, obviously, to watch the show. It aired in Australia last night. It's fair to say that actually I couldn't recall there being anything from the interview that I found particularly stood out for me and had to be reminded of that question. And you're assuming that I haven't been asked by New Zealand media that question before as well.
Have New Zealand media asked you at what date you conceived your baby?
They've asked a question that in a roundabout way implied that, yes.
So you were comfortable, generally you were comfortable?
Oh, look, nothing stood out for me. Look, at the time, certainly I think that question threw me a little bit, but it would be going a bit far to say I was somehow offended by it. I wasn't. It's one of, I think, put under the heading of too much information. That's where I'd put that.
Did you find it sexist or something at all?
No, it didn't. Again, as I say, the interview didn't particularly stand out for me in a way that made sense when I saw some of the headlines that followed on. I had to look back and remind myself of what the questions might have been. I don't know, I haven't spent a lot of time analysing it. Maybe I've lost all my sensitivity. Maybe it's just that I'm from Morrinsville. I don't know, but I wasn't particularly fazed by any of it.